New show coming out on Taste Made. Can you tell us about the Curious Chef and what audiences can expect?
Sure. So, Curious Chef, it started with conversations of my wanting to become a better home cook. I know it sounds funny as a chef that I don't cook at home as much as maybe everybody else does, because I have a 6-year-old, and as he's starting to get more curious about food as well, I want him to start eating more things. And throughout my career, I've always sort of traveled around the world to research, and that's how I find inspiration in everything that I cook. So, we found a way to sort of combine both of those things where I go and cook with different home cooks and also people that do pop-ups and people from different backgrounds with food from all over the world for ways to bring more stuff into my home kitchen or for other people too also.
Yeah, definitely. The show is also inspired by the bond that you shared with your mother. Can you talk a little bit about the impact that she's had on you and your love for exploring these different cultures and cuisines?
Yeah, so I was really lucky to grow up with a mom who cooked food from all over the world. If you looked in her recipe book at the time, there was cookbooks from all different parts of the world, whether it was she made Mandarin pancakes, which I still use that recipe today for duck duck goat. Um, she just cooks really cool stuff. So I grew up that way. And so I think I want to have that same thing with my child. My mom used to hang a menu on the refrigerator every week. So on Sundays, we put a menu up and it would say what we're having every night of the week. So my friends could come over and say, I'm going to come over for roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. I'm going to come over for mushu or whatever they wanted to come over for. And we would go to the grocery store together on Sunday and get everything for the week. And my sister and I would be in the kitchen with my mom. So it was such a huge part of my childhood. And I just want that to become more and more part of my bond with my child too.
Great answer. And in the show, you talked about going back to your roots and how you first got started. Having had so much success in this industry and throughout your career, when you look back, is there a particular moment that stands out to you?
Oh, I mean, there's so many. There's been so many cool things that have happened, and I always say that I'm on like a little roller coaster ride myself, like not really knowing what's coming next with no plans whatsoever. I don't know what's around the corner. Um, I think my first restaurant I opened when I was 27, Scylla. That was kind of like this like jumping point where I just decided to open my own restaurant because I'm kind of a spur of the moment person. I was like, I think I'll just do this. So I think having done that, that gave me the opportunity to get on Top Chef, which gave me the opportunity to meet my partners that I have now. So each sort of big moment that's happened has led to the next, and it's hard to just pick one.
You said in the past that you're constantly learning from different chefs that you've met throughout your career. What's the biggest lesson that these home chefs that we're going to see featured on the show have taught you?
I think just to have fun and not be afraid in the kitchen. I think a lot of times home cooks, when they look at a recipe, if there's one ingredient that maybe the grocery store is missing, they're like, I guess I can't make this. But it's kind of having an understanding of why different ingredients are in recipes, whether it's
Mm.
bringing acidity or spice. And if that ingredient, if you want to change that ingredient up, you can just have fun with it. If you don't want to use blueberries, use strawberries. If you want to sub in different kind of chilies for the spice. So just being able to understand food and understand how it all works together to make layers of flavor so you can sub it out and have a little fun.
How have you been able to incorporate the lessons that you've learned from these chefs into your own cooking? How have they kind of inspired you?
Oh, the chefs that I've gotten to cook with, I mean, just on this show have inspired me hugely. We've actually put new things on our restaurant menus already
Oh,
since
cool.
my meeting with these cool chefs. So we met with a couple of chefs from Nigeria, and that was a whole new world to me. I've not cooked with any of those flavors before. There's this one ingredient called fermented locust beans that now I think we've bought out like every store in LA that we can find them, and like we need more fermented locust beans. They become my favorite thing, and I've started talking to my other chef friends about them. I just brought them on another cooking challenge I had to do the other day. So I'm so excited to find some different flavors and like spice mixes and things that I hadn't had before, and it just like gets me so excited.
And I love the conversations that you have with these different chefs on the show. How are you able to kind of build that trust and that bond with them?
I think cooks just sort of you give a couple of cooks like 2 minutes and they just bond right away. And I mean, not even that much time, Chef Eros, one of the chefs from Nigeria, it was like a few moments in the kitchen and we're just kind of talking like we've been friends for years. Or going shopping with Brittany and just as soon as we started talking about food and her love of food, it's like we could just have conversations about everything and it feels like you've known each other forever. So I think when people have like a strong love of food or maybe grew up with their mom cooking and such, it gives you ties together that you just feel so connected.
This is also the first time that you've hosted a show. Has anything surprised you about the experience? What's been the biggest takeaway thus far?
Oh, I mean, I love hosting it because you get to ask a lot of questions. So instead of being the one that's just, getting asked or being in competition where I'm just like, stressed and sweating. This is like hosting a show where I just get to go out and learn things about food and talk to other chefs and home cooks and eat and cook and do the things I love without that pressure. I think has been really amazing. It's like such a fun, different way to do TV and a different way to showcase flavors. And it's really educational for me at the same time. I just kind of can ask anything that I want to.
How did this partnership with Tastemade originally come about?
It's fun. I think we had a couple of conversations over the years and getting out to LA. I think part of the one of the fun things about moving out here is just being closer to different forms of doing television. It's always been
Mm.
something I've loved ever since doing Top Chef. Once you start to see all that goes into TV and start to understand a little bit more about production, I got so excited to do more and more. And so connecting with Taste and Made because I think they love to showcase chefs and food in just a true way. It seemed like a really good fit for me.
Yeah, what do you hope audiences take away after they see the show?
I hope they just want to go jump in the kitchen like I did after each one. It's that's kind of what it's meant to be, or that they want to go to different markets and we go to a Thai night market, which is really awesome. I didn't even know anything about Thai town in LA, but it makes you want to go into different neighborhoods in whatever city that you're in and explore them and check out different markets. And if you can't get to Thailand or to Nigeria, you can still find an awesome market and find some flavors.